From Fox News, War Department launches new counter-narcotics task force under Trump directive to crush cartels. The Department of War just launched a new counter-narcotics task force in the Caribbean to crush drug cartels under President Trump's directive. Secretary Pete Hegseth says it'll stop drugs cold, focusing on the South-Com area covering Latin America and the Caribbean. Led by the 2nd Marine Expeditionary Force, it aims to dismantle trafficking networks with U.S. and partner nations amid recent strikes on suspected drug boats that killed 21 people. Democrats are alarmed, questioning evidence for the strikes as the task force ramps up efforts to secure the hemisphere. From CNN, GOP leaders steadfast in shutdown stance despite rising pressure inside party. As the government shutdown enters its third week, GOP leaders like John Thune and Mike Johnson refuse to budge, even as military paychecks are at risk for the first time in recent history. Republicans blame Democrats for rejecting a funding extension, insisting no separate military pay bill to pressure a resolution, despite internal party tensions and viral confrontations. The stalemate centers on expiring ACA subsidies. GOP won't guarantee them without Democrats yielding, while some Republicans urge action to avoid political fallout. Both sides dig in, with polls favoring Democrats so far, but GOP believes public support will shift as the bind affects troops and families. From Newsweek, Mark Benioff's National Guard plea sparks fury. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff is facing fury after urging the Trump administration to deploy National Guard troops to fight crime in San Francisco. In a New York Times interview, Benioff said the city needs more cops and suggested guards could help, citing his own hiring of off-duty officers for events. This shift from his progressive past has angered local Democrats like Supervisor Matt Dorsey, who called it a slap in the face to city police efforts. Defense attorney Brooke Jenkins and Senator Scott Wiener oppose inviting chaos, while Mayor Lurie's office highlights ongoing police staffing plans amid Trump's threats to send troops to blue cities. From NBC News, costumed protesters in Portland defy description of the city as a war zone. In Portland, costumed protesters like unicorns and dinosaurs dance outside an ICE building, countering the Trump administration's war zone label amid anti-deportation demos. The antics aim to show community joy and absurdity while providing protection from tear gas, as small groups protest mass deportations and National Guard deployments. Despite challenges like homelessness, crime stats show drops in homicides and steady overall rates, defying the violent narrative pushed by federal officials. A court hearing challenges Guard deployment, with protesters blaming feds for unrest, and even Governor Newsom mocking the war zone claim on social media. From the Associated Press, National Guard stands down in Illinois while troops patrol in Memphis with local police. In Memphis, National Guard troops began patrols Friday, focusing on tourist areas like Bass Pro Shops, escorted by local police to target violent crime without arrests. Democratic Mayor Paul Young didn't request them, but wants focus on offenders. Stats show improving crime rates, though residents question the need and costs. In Illinois, a judge blocked Guard deployment to Chicago, citing no evidence of rebellion amid immigration clashes. Troops are limited to training. Senators Durbin and Duckworth were denied access to a site, criticizing the move as legal battles continue over Trump's city deployments, with Portland's on hold. From USA Today, Trump fulfills threat to fire federal workers as shutdown hits day 11. Live updates. On day 11 of the shutdown, Trump's administration fired thousands of federal workers via reduction in force notices, targeting areas like education and HHS. Trump blames Democrats, calling the layoffs a pressure tactic over funding, with about 4,000 affected so far and more expected in Democrat-oriented agencies. The deadlock stems from ACA subsidy cuts. Democrats demand restoration, while GOP needs more Senate votes to pass a short-term bill amid filibusters. Polls blame Trump and GOP more, but impacts like flight delays and military pay misses could shift opinions. Some Republicans float nuclear options, but leadership resists. And as always, thank you for the like, comment, and subscription.